passionate fighter against child sex trafficking. That's something that I fight against all over the United States. I've partnered with many different organizations. But on top of that, I fight against child abuse and domestic violence because it's all so connected, and it's something that has touched me personally. And for a lot of people, actually, what I'm getting ready to speak about, this is the first time I've ever spoken about it, actually, in public. Um, Many people have asked me along the way, what makes you so passionate about fighting for children who are being abused? And, you know, there were many things in my life leading up to adulthood that really made me passionate. People that I knew and were very close to and loved that I had to stand up for and advocate for from a young age. I'm a fighter.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a protector. And that's something that I learned and had to learn really early on because I was faced with some really tough decisions as a young child to protect people that didn't have as bold of a voice. And that's something that really I continued on with in adulthood, but what I don't talk about, and I haven't, it's a loss and a pain that I experienced when I was 20. And it's so dark and horrific that I think I don't know, I used the passion that it sparked inside of me to continue on and keep fighting. But I haven't really spoken about why I'm so passionate in detail. I usually skirt around the issue. But his name is Zachary. I met Zachary when he was 8 years old. I was his full-time daycare teacher until he was 14 months old. I was with him over 40 hours a week. I had 4 other children in my room, and I had had many kids along the way through the years, but he was the only one that really entered my heart, really stole a piece of my heart, and I loved that little boy. When I would lay the other kids down for nap time, I would hold him, and he would sleep on me. When he was 14 months old, he came into the daycare one morning. It was a Friday, and he had visible bruises on his face in the shape of a hand. And I was immediately upset. I pulled the director of the daycare in and was insisting that we call Children's Services. And she looked at me, and I think she was scared to cause any kind of conflict with the mother. She was a single mother. So she just said very strongly, no, we'll make note of this. Do not call. We'll see if it happens again. I was very angry. I was very upset. But in my 20-year-old mind, I thought my job depends on listening to her, and she was in a position of authority. So I decided to think about it. I took pictures, and I left that day. All the next day, I struggled with whether or not to call. On Sunday, it was too late. Zachary was brutally beaten to death by his mother's boyfriend. There is nothing about his death that was easy. It was not fast. And it was not in a split second. The spark that had become a flame as a child growing up to fight against child abuse became a blaze. And it's a blaze that has continued to burn ever since his death. And it's something that I haven't been able to talk about until now. But I'm done being silent. I want to use this story, this specific story, and stop being so vague about why I fight against what I do. I wrote down notes because typically I don't need them, but I knew that I would today. So the one thing that I want to touch on that I think is probably the most important going forward is really making a change in our communities and what we can do. I think the one thing that we can really learn from in this situation is really being forced into that position of silence that I was faced with. Never again have I ever doubted following my gut. Always follow your gut. If you're scared or you're worried about a child, there's a good reason. Speak up, speak out. Don't be afraid who you're going to offend, because that child's life might be in danger. And that next time might not come.
Right.
And another thing, this year, Timothy Eckert will be released. I have 2 children, and this is not acceptable. It's not okay that he will be leaving the prison this year to go free. And I think it's time that we demand that monsters like that are not allowed around our children ever again.
Yes. Yes.
We have a sex abuse registry. We need a child abuse registry. But more importantly, Zachary was not killed on a whim.
No.
Zachary was killed because of what's inside of him. And it's going to come out again. And someone's child is in danger. This year, someone's child is in danger.
Tell us his name again.
Timothy Eckert from North Carolina.
Timothy Eckert.
And you track is what release any of them that get released sometime back. You got to take them down.
We need a way to track these people. He'll probably change his name and go into hiding. And, I really appreciate you guys sitting through this horrible speech. Usually I'm all put together, but I think that that's why I've avoided talking about this, because it's been easier to be passionate about it from an emotional distance and not get up and cry in front of people. But I love that little boy. I love him. And I know he knew he was loved. And I demand justice for Zachary.
Yes.
That's right.
And I demand justice for these children.